Hey, it's Bob Vilka here for the Friday finish. It's the week of March 6th. It's been a long, busy week. Lots of stuff happening at the Capitol that Don Crandall's going to update you on in a minute. You also received this week an email from me, actually it was from our president, Rich Kligman, asking you to consider a donation to our Legal Action Fund. And the one thing I will say is this association has a long established tradition of really fighting for justice for our members across the state, and to make sure we're preventing things from happening that would have a negative impact on our industry. In particular, we've spent more than $500,000 over the last 12 years fighting a permit fee battle up in the city of Detroit, over by Detroit. That case has taken a long time for us to win. The only remaining issue is whether or not the city has to pay us our legal fees back. They were overcharging for permit fees. They were taking that money and using it for other government purposes. We need to win that case, and so a legal action donation will help sustain us so that we can in fact win that case, and then have access to those dollars that can be used for other fights across the state. We've also got battles like electrification, natural gas bans over in the city of Ann Arbor. We have other cities across the state trying to impose code restrictions under the auspices of a zoning ordinance change, which they can't do. But like I like to tell everybody, governments will try to do things even if they're against the law. If nobody objects, they'll do it. And they've proven to do that if no one objects. So we're standing here as your last line of defense. We need your support. I hope you'll take a look at that email and make a contribution to our Legal Action Fund. If you misplaced or didn't receive that email, you'll see a little link at the bottom of the screen that will direct you to a site that you can make a donation to our fund. Now I'm going to turn things over for an update from the Capitol to our EVP of Government Relations, Don Crandall. Don.
Welcome to this week's edition of Friday Finish. It was an exciting week downtown on Wednesday, as I have now renamed them WTF Wednesdays, because that's when things seem to go sideways. The State House took up two pieces of legislation that their bases wanted done for a while. Right to work is now back in place. So if you are going to go take on a union job, you are going to be required to work for a union. You may recall under Governor Snyder, right to work was repealed, and you could go work for a union and not have to pay union dues. Those two bills came out of the State House on Wednesday with a straight party vote. They are now over in the Senate, and we believe those bills will move through the Senate and be sent to the governor next week for signage. The other thing that they have put back in is prevailing wage. You may recall under Governor Snyder, prevailing wage was repealed. Now if you take on a municipal or school project, you will be required to pay the union dues prevailing wage amount in that area. Two exciting things for our industry that are coming up next week. As I mentioned, TIF, tax increment financing bills were going to be introduced. They were. Senate Bills 129, 130, 131, and 132 deal with tax increment financing and gap financing. Those bills will be heard on Tuesday, March 14th in the Housing and Human Services Committee. We expect a vote the following week, and hopefully those bills will move out of the Senate and over to the House before they break for spring break the last week in March. That's the exciting stuff going on in Lansing. Look for another edition and an update next week. If you are interested in testifying in support of the TIF bills, please email me. And if you would like a copy of the TIF bills, the link is in this video.
And that's a wrap for the Friday Finish. Make sure to check those links down at the bottom of the screen to consider making that donation to your state association. Have a great weekend, everybody.